Okay, thanks, Caitlin. Well, I'm happy to start. Thanks to everyone for giving us the opportunity to present this project to you. I will try full screen mode. So the project is the Hilton Hotel at 472 Bourke Street. There are 247 rooms in the building. It's about 15,000 square metres. Our client on the project was M&L Hospitality, which we've done multiple interior design and hotel projects with. The project is located more or less in the centre of the hotel grid, so proximate to some really interesting amenity in Melbourne. I think interestingly for us as well, it's pretty much surrounded by a lot of mid-scale commercial buildings, say for the larger towers at 500 Bourke Street and 140 William Street. So when the opportunity presented itself, we were very interested in how this building, particularly as a hotel, is going to contribute to a greater diversity of types and uses within the area. So we think it's made a major contribution to the public domain and the urban design and the life of this part of Melbourne. So it was originally that there is an existing heritage building on the site, I should say, and it was and still is the Equity, was originally built as the Equity Trustees Company building in 1930 and 31 and designed by Oakley and Parks, and is beautifully detailed with a number of actually different styles: Romanesque, Gothic, neoclassical styles, beautiful detailing. But it was in a bit of a state of disrepair when we were given the opportunity to start working on it. So one of the things that interested us in this project was the opportunity to connect with the time in which it was built. So you'll see in both the architecture and the interior design that we have, in a contemporary manner, we have tried to connect the building with the time in which it was put together. So it is on the Victorian Heritage Register. We worked very closely with Lovell Chen as the heritage architects. They were fantastic and did the heritage documentation and made a really amazing contribution to the project. And we have submitted this project for consideration in the Heritage Awards as well. The building, as you can see here, this is a view down Little Queen Street back towards Bourke Street. So this is a view from the north. The existing site is to the original existing site is to the left here. This is the location where we put our new 17-storey tower, which keyed into the existing heritage building. As I said, it was in a state of disrepair. It was actually occupied by squatters when we came to the project. So in terms of the overall party and arrangement of spaces, and I'm sorry, I'm playing with the arrangement of the people here, but we have this existing building here, which you can see is shown in grey. This is Bourke Street to the right here. So this is what we had to work with, and I'll talk you through the various additions and changes that we made to the building. So we provided a new arrival experience and refurbished a lot of the heritage fabric, both at ground level and then through the building. A new executive lounge at the first level here, and then a very grand, beautiful double height space at the centre of the building, which was an old banking chamber, and we've converted into a restaurant. And our primary porte cochere, which is up at the higher Little Queen Street level with loading at the back. We located a lot of back of house areas, including kitchen and some staff areas in the existing basement. Then at ground level, as I said, there's a new entry into the building, the Douglas Club, which is a bar which contributes to the activation of our Bourke Street frontage. Double height restaurant called Lucci, the buffet, a lounge area which is connected to our lobby area. And then above that, a number of conference rooms, and I'll talk you through the plans shortly. Some heritage suites start at this level, and then a gym which sits at the base of our new tower. Heritage rooms within the envelope of the existing building, with some new rooms located at the back here. And then sitting on top of the existing concrete frame structure, we arranged 6 levels of new steel framed structure. Interestingly, and this was a great contribution our structural engineer made, the new tower form here, 17 levels of concrete frame structure, there was a steel frame structure over the top of the existing building in order to keep the weight of the new building down and minimise the amount of structure that was required in the heritage building. And there's actually very little new structure in the heritage building. There's some minor column strengthening that occurred, but that was about it. And then we have the new tower rooms running up to level 17 with a new lift core, which sits in the footprint of that new tower, but quite seamlessly connects into all levels of the existing building and the new extension. In terms of setbacks, we think it's very sensitively arranged in terms of an overall composition. We have a 7-metre setback to Bourke Street and then a 34-metre setback to our primary tower form, and that does mean that you cannot read the tower form when you're standing on the south side of Bourke Street. And that was something that Heritage Victoria were very keen and very supportive of. In terms of the design philosophy, we were very interested in what had come before and the sorts of buildings that were being created and delivered both in Melbourne and globally as a way of starting to think about how we might deliver our design. We were keen to find a connection. So you can see the Buckley and Nunn men's store, which dated from a similar time, the Mallorca building, very finely detailed, beautifully crafted, and some of the thinking around some of the geometry and the detailings contributed not only to the architecture, but then also the interior design of this building. We were keen to create a framework that does feel fluid and allows for movement and differentiation in order to express the different functions within the building, but then also create a play that ties into the sort of playful mix of architectures that exist in that existing building. So you can see here a sort of a side axo view showing the existing building, the facade, and then this idea that we might have a tripartite arrangement of facade approaches, which on Little Queen Street at the lower levels here was about really announcing the porte cochere entry, the entry into the primary entry point into the building with a playful facade, then a more regular approach to the rooms above that in order to tie into the regularity of the existing heritage facade on Little Queen Street. And then as we got higher and the views opened up, we were interested in really minimising the amount of material in that facade. Now, it is a GRC facade, which we think it might be one of the largest uses of GRC in Melbourne. So that's reasonably interesting for us. I'm going to skip through some of the existing photos, but we worked very closely with lighting designers. You can see the beautifully restored sandstone portico here at the entry. Refurbishment of a number of details of the within the building. The way we designed the laneway was very important. So we commissioned a new mural by Kit Bennett on this western wall of not our property, but that then's picked up in the reflections of this beautiful screen, which is announcing the entry into the building. This is our porte cochere. Views into the lobby space. This is the level 1. This is the arrival level into that double height space. And then really an interior which is very contemporary in its intent, but does pick up on some of the original detailing in the building. This beautiful double height space, which is an operating restaurant, so open to the public. And I think that was something we were very keen on doing, is in doing this project, really giving it an opportunity to allow people to use it. These are the meeting rooms within the building. In terms of sustainability.
Sorry. Unfortunately, we're out of time for the presentation,
Sure.
but I'll throw to the jury for
pretty
2
much
minutes
finished.
of questions.
Yeah.